Why didn't you tell me you were peeking in on me? Sorry for being so rude. Let me ask you a question. How many people out there would be interested in seeing a pipe review? Or perhaps a tobacco review, or maybe just a general knowledge on pipe smoking? I have here a beautiful Peterson pipe. Did you know that Mark Twain loved Peterson pipes? He had a vast collection, but Peterson was his favorite. Did you also know that there's some kind of empowering feeling by pointing with your pipe as to belittle people? You listen to me, sir. As well as having very deep, thought-provoking pauses in conversation. Very fascinating stuff. So here is this is a Peterson. Donegal Rocky is the model, 221. The style here is a bent billiard and is a beautiful rusticated piece of briar. And sterling silver band on this one. Fantastic pipe. But today, it's not a video about pipe smoking. I just want to see if there's any interest out there. Today, I'm talking about something I read in a local paper. This is the Pike County Dispatch for Pike County, Pennsylvania and surrounding areas. And there's an article in here on third page. No, making me a liar. Now I lost it. Second page. Okay. The title is New York Man Sentenced in Pike Illegal Firearms Case. So, what is this story about? This is about a gentleman who was at a shooting range, okay? And there was a routine check. Some Pennsylvania shooting ranges, I'm not sure if they do this in other states as well, but they'll do random checks where the sheriff will come down there or local PD, and they'll just kind of look around, make sure everything's cool. These public ranges in Pennsylvania, there are rules, but there's no range master. It's just a little piece of land that's dedicated for shooting. Usually the state pays for, say, the backdrop or whatever maintenance there needs to be, and usually there's very little maintenance. Once they build a thing, they put up a couple wood barriers or whatever so you can hang targets. That's pretty much it. But one of the only rules that I know of at these ranges are a magazine limit. You're not supposed to have more than 5 rounds in your magazine at any given time, or your gun, if there is, in fact, an internal magazine. But that's just what we would call a technicality, and no one follows that rule. And if a squad car pulls up the long driveway there, word gets around, everyone just makes sure they only have 5 in their mag. Guy walks around, he checks some stuff, and he leaves. Now this only happens maybe once or twice a month. It's not very often, so it's pretty much anything goes. In this case, there was a guy in Pike County who went to a range, and it happened to be a routine check. And I guess the officer was checking licenses or something, because they looked this guy up, and it turns out he was a convicted felon. And he had a warrant actually out for his arrest. Or maybe not his arrest, but he had a warrant out for him. So here, you know what? Let me just read you the story here instead of paraphrasing it. All right. The United States Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Pennsylvania announces that a New York City man entered a guilty plea and was sentenced by District Court Judge, who cares, to serve 28 months in prison for being a convicted felon in possession of firearms and ammunition. According to the United States Attorney, doesn't matter, Novice, that's his name, formerly of Queens, New York, entered a guilty plea to the charge of being convicted felon in possession of firearms. Oh, Chambers is the guy's name who was arrested. Okay. Novice Chambers. Apparently a novice. Chambers was previously indicted by federal grand jury in August 2010 after an incident at a rifle range in Pike County, in which Chambers was found to be in possession of firearms and ammunition. The investigation began on blah, 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 blah. I don't really need to read this, do I? The point here is that don't do anything wrong, okay? Because if you have a felony on your record, you're never going to be able to have a gun legally, okay? And the world of guns is a fantastic thing. We have guns for self-defense. We have guns for hobbies. In fact, most gun channels here predominantly are into guns as a hobby. They happen to use them for defense as well. They maybe have one around the house in case someone breaks in. Maybe they carry one, but it's a hobby. It's a passion. It's a love for guns. There's an interest in guns, the history, the functionality. It just feels powerful to have a gun and to shoot it. It is fun. And if you are convicted of a felony, you're going to miss out on that. Okay, so if you're not already a felon, don't become one. It's a pretty simple message. It just, it sparked a thought in my head that, some of these people out there, they may have a felony charge when they were younger, and people do change when they get older. A lot of times I'll have guys in their 40s or 50s and they'll say, yeah, I'm a stupid kid at the time, and they've really grown up in a lot of ways. But hey, if you screw up once, that's it. That carries with you your whole life. A felony charge, not just for something as fun as having guns or the privilege to have guns, at least legally, but possibilities for jobs in the future, careers. It's a hindrance on a lot of things. Now, there's not supposed to be any prejudice against felons for applications for jobs, or even apartments for rent, stuff like that. But people still do judge, okay? They're not supposed to, but they do, and you will have a heck of a hard time ever doing anything easily in your future, okay? That's something that just follows you like a dirty diaper, and it stinks, and no one wants anything to do with it. So the message here is to just think about what you're doing in life. And if you're one of these younger people who are just into some bad stuff, cut the crap. And it's not just because maybe you want to be into guns later. It's just, it'll ruin your life, all right? Some things are not worth it. So seriously, cut the malarkey, all right? Just a off-the-cuff video here. But also wanted to kind of weed in the idea of possibly doing videos on pipe stuff. Here's the deal with the booze, okay? I've been very fascinated with alcohol, as you guys know. However, now that I've tried everything I have that's been gifts and stuff that's free, I'm not in a position to buy alcohol. To me, it's not something I do regularly anyway, so I can't waste money on it. And for me, at this point, it is a waste of money. And I love to try new things, but, $50, $60 a bottle, in some cases 100, 150, 200. For some of these, limited type, hard to find things that I'd be interested in trying, it's not going to happen. So I'm kind of losing interest in it. I'm not into drinking to get drunk. Like I said, it's just for tasting. And now that I've tasted everything I have like maybe 30 different types of whiskey and, various other alcohols and stuff. I've tried them all. Been there, done that, want to move on. I can't. There's a barrier. It's just like if you're into another hobby, let's say knives, and you want that $200 knife, and it's just not going to happen anytime soon. You start losing interest. So since Christmas, been into this as well. Leisurely. It's not something I do every day, just like the alcohol. Maybe it's something that will stick forever, something that will come and go. I don't know. So far, it's been very fascinating. Pipe smoking is not like cigarette smoking. There is inherent health issues, but they're minimal compared to a lot of other things in life. So it's just one of those things. I'm an adult. I'm able to legally do it, and morally, I'm fine with it. I don't really think it's a big deal. Again, not trying to get across a message that the younger viewers should smoke or should start smoking. But if you are an adult, perhaps you're interested in something like this, or maybe you already do have an interest in pipe smoking, and you'd love to hear my thoughts on stuff, or maybe just see it. If you have a hobby, maybe you're not learning something from videos, but it's still fun to watch people talk about it. Gun stuff. I get this question all the time, particularly with guns, and people will tell me, I don't understand the gun channels. How can you watch someone shoot a gun over and over and over again? Like the first couple times it's exciting, but doesn't it get boring? And I said, no, it doesn't get boring. People can watch them over and over and over again and then want more because it's just something to watch. If it's something you're interested in, doesn't matter what, it's the people you're watching, obviously their personality, sometimes they're funny, they're educational, whatever the situation is, but you just like seeing the shooting. It's the action, so you never get sick of it. So maybe there's some people out there who do have the interest or might have been thinking of doing this and maybe want to just see some videos on it. So let me know. All right. So take all that information, absorb it all in, and let me know. Give me your thoughts and opinions on it. So that's pretty much it. As far as this guy, Chambers, this novice, I think that's how you say his name. It's N-O-V-I-C-E. That's novice to me. Novice Chambers, a putz, a real putz. And he's missing out. And he went as far as illegally obtaining a firearm and ammunition, and now he's going to jail for it. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Anyway, that's all for this video. Let me know what your interests are. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you have for dinner. I really don't care. Comments are always out there. There's definitely comments that are totally unrelated to the video, no matter what you do. Anyway, that is all, folks. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to get back to reading my paper here. And I appreciate you joining me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy, guys. This is so stupid.